Not that you want the board to do all the work because you want good technique and all that, but I find that if you ride too far forward on your front foot, a lot of times, especially toe side on toe side jumps, if you feel like you're stabbing through the wake, What's up everyone? Shaun Murray back here in my shop. I just got a new board and binding shipped to me from Hyperlite. In the same way that you can get some boards shipped to you, you guys can go check some of the links in the description below. Check out some online retailers or shops that are local near to you. You can go to hyperlite.com and find out who's near you or who you want to buy from. Okay, stop just for a second, sorry. There's a huge crease in the box and I want to explain why. We were trying to get creative, took the board out of the box, we folded the box in half, tried to hide half of it behind my workbench, so then we tried to get creative and it didn't work. We're like, forget it, just put the board back in the box, it's gonna be fine. And then I start reviewing the footage and I see this big crease in the box and it does not look good. But I'm like, I still wanna put this edit out. So that's why there's a big old crease in the box. Back to the show. But what happens, the board got shipped to me and I started to take it out and I was like, hold on, why don't I just do an unboxing and also show you guys how I set my wakeboard up before I get ready to go ride. So let's get that started. So they have it set up in this nice wrapper so that it doesn't slide around the box and damage the edges. They've done a good job of packing it up. Let's take it out. You wanna make sure you cut away from yourself. This knife, I've got a lot of Kershaws. I really like this one. Cool sticker. And here is when you see the beauty of this thing. All right, if you haven't seen this yet, I did an edit on this and she's a beaut. Love this thing, red, white, and blue. Know what I'm saying? Here's something that I like to do with all my boards. When I'm showing people like my boards at like a boat show or at OWC, whatever, check this out. That's pretty cool. What that is that's a high centered spine that allows those really soft landings. And it also allows some other benefits. Things like when you're sliding the wake, want to spin surface 180s, when you want to just butter slide on glass. Heel side and toe side edge is rolled. Super user-friendly board. So you can go check out my edit on that. Now that I've got this board, the next thing that I generally do is I'm gonna put stickers on it. So you can indulge me just for a second. And now for the bindings. They come in these nice packages. Comes with another Hyperlite sticker. Also has some instructions on how to mount these, but I'm gonna show you right now. Where you put your stance is all personal preference. I'm 5'6", just under 150 pounds. Most of the boards I ride, I'm going to ride what I call the middle setting. These two holes will line up with that base plate. This would make my foot in the farthest back position. If I slide here, I'm in what I call the middle setting, and this is the inner or narrow setting. What this allows you to have that stance where you want it, tip to tail. And honestly, most of the boards that I ride, I'm going to ride in the middle setting on both feet. When I ride that middle setting, that allows me just to have a stance that doesn't feel like it's too wide, too narrow, and it's just right. Now, a lot of times I ride my 139. Boards are measured in centimeters, so I ride my 139 Hyperlite Murray. This one here that I just got is my 144, and you'll hear me say size up. So at 5'6", some people would say riding a 144 is too big, but in all honesty, the board doesn't feel that big. We've learned how to make boards lighter in weight, yet we can keep that surface area nice and big so you get a lot of push into the air and it's a big stable landing. So another thing that dictates like where I want my stance is how much support I want on my takeoffs and how much support I want on my landings. What does that mean? When you're going off of the wake, I feel like if your front foot, this is my front over here, if my front foot were to get way up here, this is exaggerated obviously, if it's up here, that front foot would stab through the wake, right? And it would really not allow for a clean takeoff. So if I were to move my boot way back, having all that board up there, the board would help me ride up the wake cleanly. Not that you want the board to do all the work because you want good technique and all that, but I find that if you ride too far forward on your front foot, a lot of times, especially toe side on toe side jumps, if you feel like you're stabbing through the wake, try bringing your front foot back. Now, also watch my instruction on how to lean against the line when you're going toe side, and that'll put your weight in a little bit better position. But I find like if you are stabbing through the wake too much or getting a lot of splash off the wake, move your front foot back. Now on landings, if you are too far towards the tail, then there's really not much to support you. So with that same theory, if you went and stood way towards the tail of the board, then when you land, there's not much leverage to help you if you're a little bit off. The way that I found this out was I was riding my 134 just to try it out, and I noticed if I rode in the middle setting, it felt too narrow. So I put it to the outer setting so it felt like it was wide enough. But the problem with that was as I went off the wake, I had a decent takeoff, but when I landed, it felt like the board wasn't there to support me. So when I was landing, even I was just a little bit off, it felt like there was nothing there and I was looping out. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to maybe try the opposite. And I went all the way narrow. And on the 134, that stance gets really narrow. And so I felt like I had a really narrow stance, but my landings were way more supported. So I was like, wow, that really has a lot to do with the distance between your back foot and the trailing edge of the end of the board, the tail. This distance is very important on how stable your landings feel. So I want to make sure I have enough distance on the front of the board from my front foot to the tip of the board. And I really want a lot of distance from my back foot to the tail of the board. So the front foot gives you cleaner takeoffs when you have more distance, and the back foot, more distance here, gives you more stable landings. So where does that put me? On the 144, I'm going to throw you guys a curveball. Like I said, on most of the boards that I ride, my 139 mainly, I'm going to ride in the middle settings at 15 degrees. We'll talk about duck stance and the angles in just a second. But when I ride the 144, I find like this stance is a little bit too wide for me because as the boards size up, all of these insert packs start sliding out. So what I do is I actually ride my back foot in the neutral stance in the middle, and on my front foot, I ride all the way back. I know it's riding tail heavy, it's asymmetrical. Seems like riding switch would be weird, but it's honestly not that weird. So this is what I do, and I'm gonna just mount it up I'm just gonna mount this up how I ride it. Okay, so to mount the boards, you're gonna have different hardware with almost every different manufacturer and everything. Ours have these teeth that line up with these teeth, and the arrow on the outside right here points in the direction of what degree you want to be on. So I want to be on about 15 degrees. And honestly, if I'm off a degree or so, it's not that big of a deal. So I'm putting both of these at 15 degrees. So to talk about angle, number one, whatever I say, this is just my opinion. I don't want you to go doing something, getting hurt, and then be like, oh, you told me to do this. And I'm just telling you what I've found over the years. Now, angle is all personal preference. And that has to do with how far out your foot is ducked. We call it a duck stance, where your feet are all the way out. Neutral, pigeon-toed. Don't ride pigeon-toed. But I find I just want to get to where I don't feel pressures on the outside of my foot, the inside of my foot, my knees. So really do what feels best for you. I find that between 12 and 15 degrees out on each foot is where you really want to get your feet kind of at that right angle. If you feel like you're getting pressure on the outside of your foot while you're riding, you may need more angle. Your foot's telling you, I want to open up more. If you're feeling on the inside of your foot, it may say, hey, that's too much. I need a little less angle. So everybody's body, legs, feet, everyone's designed differently. But I find 15 degrees out on each foot is a good number. When you're tightening your bindings, I see people just pulling these things so hard. If you get your bindings in the right size, you really shouldn't have to pull them that hard. You basically just don't want to be able to walk out of your bindings, especially if you're not getting upside down. But these new clips we've used in the last few years, check this out. Put these on so you're not dangling around, and then you can wind these up. Now that's a good looking setup. I'm pumped on this. Hopefully you are too. Thank you, Hyperlite, for letting me be part of my boards for well over 25 years. I've had pro models since 1997, and continuing to get to do this and share my love of being out on the water behind the boat and just being out there with family and friends with you guys. Thank you guys for watching and just following along. If you guys have questions or comments about the sport, about equipment, board size, put that in the comments below. I do read those, I do answer those, so let me help you guys out as much as I can, and I just do my best. And if you guys don't subscribe, maybe consider doing that right now. If you do that, hit the notification bell. I'm putting out a new video every week so that I can help you guys enjoy yourself on the water. I know I'm having a good time, so hopefully you guys are too. Oh yeah, check out ShaunMurray.com. I got some merch. Woo! Always appreciate it when you like and share. If you guys want to connect with me here in Orlando, you can find me coaching at the Orlando Water Sports Complex. You can see that in the links below. If you want to get some coaching, I also work with the guys at GiveGo. So check out the GiveGo app, or if you want me just to create some sort of personalized message to you or any of your friends as a birthday, Christmas, whatever kind of gift, you can now check me out at Cameo. And no matter what you guys are doing, always enjoy your ride. Peace!